Welcome into Lone Peak basketball on KSL Sports Rewind as Lone Peak returning home after their most recent tournament and taking on the Brighton Bengals. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Excited to bring you this non-region contest. We'll start by introducing the visiting Brighton Bengals coming in at 2-3. Coach Nielsen, a young group for Brighton this year. You look at some of their key contributors, most of whom underclassmen, freshmen, sophomores littered throughout this roster. Olivia Stevens, the freshman guard, one of the top scorers this year, 15 points per game, and has freshman help with Sophie Nielsen, 16 and 9 for the freshman forward. We're talking about a lot of youth. We'll talk about it as that game goes on, but you could argue one of their more experienced players, Maya Mismash, a junior, 9 points per game. It is a young group building for the future at Brighton High School. Well, they come into a program whose future is now, that being Lone Peak. This is a top 15 team in the country, folks. They showcased that last week, getting a win over top 25 Centennial, and then losing, but in a valiant effort against Sierra Canyon. That's a top 3 team nationally. That was an 8-point difference. They lost 64-56. But this group returning so much talent from that team that went undefeated last year en route to a state championship. And they're coming off that loss, looking back to get on the winning side. As we'll talk about players for Lone Peak as this game continues, but Kaylee Woolston continues her fantastic senior year, 20 points per game for Woolston, and a cool 89% from the free throw line. As right off the break, that's what we're going to see a lot of. It's Lone Peak attacking. And I always give the disclaimer before a game that the clock you see on your screen is unofficial. At times we'll start it early, start it late, that sort of a thing to keep it trued up. They scored so quickly, I couldn't even get the clock started. So Lone Peak coming out here with a vengeance and ready to go, as it is 3-0 Knights, thanks to Shawnee Nordstrom and the three-point play coming the traditional way. As first offensive possession here for the Brighton Bengals. Long three here on the way off the front of the rim. That shot was by Stevens. We talked about her in the open. Up ahead with Ika, and it's 2 quick lay-ins for Lone Peak and a 5-0 lead. Brighton here working out of more of a traditional offensive set. 5 out here for the Bengals. Here's Stevens looking to drive. Olivia, a little step around there. That shot off the mark, out of play, and it will go to Lone Peak. We've done a couple of night games this season, and in the first year of the shot clock, first year of mercy rule in high school basketball, and in every girls game I've done, we've had mercy rules here for the Knights. We'll see if that trend continues. Here's Tanavasa. We'll hand off with Ika as Nordstrom coming over on the screen. Ika working the other way. That shot got caught under the rim, and the Bengals get the clear. Brighton coming up. As this handed off to Lucy Chin. Lucy got good time last year for the Bengals. Had a sister, if I recall correctly, was on the team last year. Graduated. Lucy just a sophomore on this 22-23 roster. Here's Stevens with some ball handling. We'll play that out. Here's Mismash. We talked about her. One of just a couple of juniors on the roster. As that entry inside, turned over, and it heads back to Lone Peak. And a quick timeout taken here by Brighton. 5-0 Lone Peak out to the early lead. Timeout Bengals. We'll be back after this.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front. SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Welcome back here to the Lone Peak Fieldhouse. Night basketball. Nordstrom running point here out of the timeout. See what Coach Nielsen and this Brighton D can try to do to slow down the Lady Knights, and that's good denial on the entry for Woolston. Ball on the floor, whistles here, and the dual possession will keep it, or will give it to the Bengals. My apologies. For all of you Lone Peak fans, in case you like watching the girls, come back tomorrow night when we'll bring on the men. Yes, that's right. Lone Peak boys basketball returning here to KSL Sports Rewind tomorrow night as they'll head up to take on the Davis Darts. As a carrying violation there, we'll turn it back over to the Lady Knights. Thrilled to have Lone Peak boys and girls basketball back with us again here this season. There's a good drive there off the window, getting the roll. Tanavasa able to drive and score it. 7-0 the advantage here for Lone Peak. Here's Miss Mash. Maya playing back out with Stevens. Coach Nielsen looking for some movement here from his offense. Maya trying to work around that screen from O'Neal, working back inside to Nielsen, who was trying to work without the basketball, and I think she traveled here. Yes, she did. Boy, you get in amongst the teeth of this Lone Peak defense, and one player we'll talk about as the game continues. That's Sarah Bartholomew, number 45 for Lone Peak. The junior, she's got it now, or had it. As they'll peel this back. Nordstrom, bit of a runner off the window, too strong, and Brighton gets the clear. Nordstrom, the last game that saw her play was up at Layton. She had to have 6 or 7 blocks in that game. A defensive force. They'll engage her in the offense typically as the game goes on. Rounding into a really solid player here for Coach Nancy Warner. 3 on the way, count it good. First offensive point of the night for Brighton coming from Chin. Lucy able to dial it in. And critical for teams when they come to play Lone Peak to stay with them early. As this terminated by Tanavasa, thrown up with Ika. Ika lays to Bartholomew now in the corner. Woolston peel this back out. Looking back there for Bartholomew, fouled on the plays. This will be the second team foul on Brighton, the first personal on Sophie Nielsen. Substitution here for the Bengals. Addison Smith, the lone senior on this roster, coming on the floor here for Doug Nielsen. Offensive foul on the inbound. Ika picking it up. Her first, was trying to set that screen to free up Bartholomew. A little bit of pressure now being shown by the Lady Knights. Across the timeline, boy, to that boundary, and has to throw it to the middle of the floor. Woolston picked it off, and Kaylee fouled here in the backcourt. ITs, for those of you unfamiliar with Lone Peak, Kaylee set the national free throw record as a freshman. 95% from the line, 89 this year, only has 9 takes. That will go up as the season continues. As an early substitution here for Lone Peak, Kennedy Woolston, the younger sister of Kaylee, checking in, the 5'10 freshman, wearing 34 tonight. This one turned over in the corner as Smith dribbles out. Addison pushing it here for the Bengals. We're past the midway point of this first quarter. A little runner there in the lane for Stevens won't go. Long 3 here from Shawnee Nordstrom, just off the front of the rim. A long rebound, and Brighton here can have even numbers if they push it. That's the idea, but a traveling violation there. Boy, picked up that dribble and then tried to kind of sidestep through the lane, and We've seen a couple of early turnovers here from the Bengals in this first quarter. Here's Bartholomew. Woolston trying to set that up in the paint. That pass a little off the mark. Kaylee able to regather it. She'll send over. Kennedy here for three. That three rattled out. Bartholomew with the offensive board. Lone Peak still with it. Here's Kaylee back to Kennedy. Tonavasa recognizing that baseline open. We're going to get to the rim. No whistle here as we'll play through. Brighton now pushing it up. Here's Stevens. And a quick one and done there for Brighton. Lone Peak started 7-0. Brighton had the three-pointer, and it's been dry offensively for the last 3 minutes or so of this first quarter. Nordstrom a long three, yes. Nordstrom now with 6 points. Here's O'Neal. She'll try the three. That died off the back of the rim. Rebound secured by Nordstrom. Shawnee inside of 2 to go. Looking in for Bartholomew. Quick shot just off the back of the rim from Sarah. Drive. Stevens fouled on the shot. Heading to the line here is Kennedy picking up her first.
Lone Peak substitution, number 0, Katie Lawrence, checks in for Sarah Bartholomew. In for the Bengals, number 20, Kayla Mismash, replaces Lucy Chin.
At the line. And 2 for 2 on the trip for Stevens. First points for the freshman guard. Shawnee being aggressive again, but that just short. Some uncustomary misses here from Lone Peak in this first quarter. Stevens leaving that for Nielsen. Shot there from Stevens. Boy, and after those free throws, that helped her dial in that shot. 4 quick points here for Olivia, and it's a one-possession ball game. 60 seconds left here in our first quarter. That pass just off the mark. Kaylee trying to get there and recover it. And the Arrows will keep it here with Lone Peak. Ika coming back on the floor here.
She replaces Shawnee Nordstrom. In for the Bengals, number 21, Lucy Chin for Olivia Stevens.
Ika looking in. No, this is before the play is on the inbound. The foul being picked up here by Addison Smith. Be her first. Inbounded with Kennedy. Here's Ika. Seeing that lane open up. Tried to get a tough pass through, and that time Tonavasa was out of play as she had reached to get the possession, and Coach Warner now wanting the timeout. As things just a little out of sync. Lone Peak going to take time here, get things organized for this final 43 seconds. You're watching Lone Peak basketball on KSLSports.com.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
Welcome back here. Want to thank our sponsors that make this stream possible. Heidemann & Associates, a full-service law firm with locations throughout the valley. They can even meet with you virtually, be it business, personal, want to set up things for posterity. Call the experts at Heidemann & Associates, and if you tell them Rewind sent you, you'll get a free consultation. Just call 801-754-4240. Bengal basketball. Looking up the floor here. 3 on the way to tie it. Lucy Chin with her second made 3. Kennedy trying to give the lead back, and she does. The freshman with the answer there for this night offense. Final 15 seconds here in the quarter. Chin around the screen. Tried to feed one through. That pass just off the mark as it was deflected. They're putting 5.5 on the clock there. Inbound with Kaylee. Woolston to the corner. Tanavasa. She'll try the little floater off the back of the rim, and the first quarter expires. Brighton's got to be thrilled with the effort. It's a one-possession game here at Lone Peak High School. The Knights leading the Bengals 13-10 after 1. You're watching Lone Peak basketball on KSLSports.com.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Stonehaven Dental. Schedule online at stonehavendental.com.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Start of the second quarter. Bengal basketball trailing Lone Peak 13-10. A couple early threes, or I should say a couple threes in that first quarter from Brighton. Helped them hang around here. But really, whether there's been intentional or unintentional, they've done a nice job of keeping this Lone Peak offense in check. Is on the break. Here's Bartholomew. Coach Nilsson and company, they wanted a call on the other end. Thought there was contact on that drive, none coming. We have seen the officials let them play here a little bit in the early going. See if that continues. Stevens has that one jarred loose. Olivia trying to keep it. Can't. Gathered by Wilson. Up ahead. Ika with the leak out. And 2 more. And a whistle there. My apologies, running into a little technical glitch here. Try to get that sorted out for you. As at the line, first free throw made here from Mismatch. Second one, no good. Bartholomew with the rebound. 17-11, the score here. Again, apologies for the technical issue. We are working to get that resolved as soon as we can. Inside, Bartholomew once again able to find the bottom of the net. Tough shot, and Tanavasa here going to be whistled. Trying to stay straight up there, but just couldn't quite do it. First free throw on the way, good here for Nielsen. Has one more. And 2 for 2. Three on the way. Ika just missing that one. On the run, Stevens too strong off the window. And Nordstrom able to hit her second three of the contest. 23-13 the advantage on the other end. Quick whistle as Brighton again trying to push it. Bartholomew here going to be called for the foul. Oh, excuse me. Nordstrom called here for the foul. As it'll be 2 here for Stevens. Appreciate your patience. Think that technically we're back up here, so our apologies. 22-13, advantage for Lone Peak. Stevens at the line here, has one more. Free throw good, splits the trip, and it's an 8-point difference. Woolston, pull up. Kaylee Woolston. She's not really found her shot yet early. You know it's just a matter of time for the senior. That's her first field goal tonight. Unofficially, try to keep unofficial stats here as that putback won't go, just off the rim from Nielsen. Woolston, other end. Back-to-back points for Kaylee. Boy, you see how quickly it can avalanche. A 13-4 second quarter. Inside that pass over the head of Bartholomew. Kaylee kept that in, but didn't have enough on the save as Nielsen able to gather it here for Brighton. Sophie trying to step through. Tough shot. Got her own miss. That one turned over. Ika. Boy, no one's stopping the basketball. McKaylee. Too strong, and Chin with it now for the Bengals. Oh, and the outlet kept in. Chin with it, and Ika here going to be called for the foul as she upended Lucy. That'll be the 6th team foul on Lone Peak, and I believe the 2nd on Ika. Lawrence and Kennedy coming on here for Lone Peak. Nielsen had that one just disrupted. Lone Peak, 2-on-1. Backside Lawrence over with Nordstrom. Shawnee in double digits tonight. Well, I thought she was in double digits. Scoreboard only has her with 8. I've got her with 11. That shot, good. On the drive there by Nielsen. I'm going to tip my cap to the scoreboard here. That's going to be tied to the official book. How about Woolston? Kennedy able to hit her second three tonight. 6 points for Kennedy. And a timeout taken here by Lone Peak as Stevens able to score it. Brighton trying to hang around. Timeout Knights. We'll be back after this.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Welcome back. 3+ minutes to go here in the first half. Lone Peak basketball. A quick 13-4 spurt helped the cause here in this second quarter. But Brighton, they've hung around. They've done a decent job. This young core for Coach Doug Nielsen. Inside, that one deflected. Lone Peak trying to keep it. Nordstrom looking over for Kaylee, and that last touched by Brighton will keep it here. Was able to true up my sheet with the scoreboard here. Tanavasa has 5. One of the 3s I had attributed to Nordstrom, as well as the 2 that I was missing. So we're back up on our unofficial stats, and now an offensive foul on the inbound. Kaylee called for it, or Kennedy, my apologies. Bartholomew will come on here for the freshman. We've seen a couple of offensive fouls, uncustomary offensive fouls on this Lone Peak group, a couple on inbounds. Brighton basketball. Oh, Chin, that pass was probably fortunately deflected. She wanted to get it to her teammate, but miscommunication there. Actually had vacated the space. That deflection, able to keep it with the blue and orange. Oh, defense lost. Nielsen got under the rim again. The coaching staff, the bench wanting another call, and Nielsen here going to be called for the contact. And Coach Doug Nielsen asking for an explanation here, not getting one that he agrees with. Lone Peak basketball. Bartholomew with that screen, rolling off of it. Kaylee here driving. Kaylee from 12. A surprising call, if nothing else. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I just, not one you commonly see called in that frame, but could have very well been. Here's Smith. Pulled from the elbow, won't go. Bartholomew able to get the clear, and Nordstrom pushing up to Tanavasa. Oh, good deflection inside as Charlotte O'Neill stayed vertical. Inside of 2 to go here, and deflected out. Woolston with the block. Stevens Out with Addison. Smith here, defended by Woolston. Over with Sophie. Nielsen back here with Stevens. Olivia trying to drive and draws the contact. We'll head to the line here. Foul called on Tanavasa, her second. Called on the shot. 2 free throws coming up here for Olivia Stevens. Ooh, that one just came off the rim. Ika back on the floor here for Lone Peak. Been a 20-8 second quarter for the home side. And 0 for 2 at the line. As this ball out of play, and it will go to Lone Peak. Rich coming on the floor here for Lone Peak. Some of that depth being flexed by this Lone Peak side. We've seen Lawrence come on, Rich coming on, Kennedy Woolston. They've all had contributions here early. Is 3 on the way. Nordstrom, that just came off the mark, and Brighton with the clear. 1 and done there for the night. 60 seconds left here in the first half. Smith. Here's Chin. Give a nice look, and then driving. Lucy drawing the contact. Rich tried to stay vertical. Boy, that's a nice move on the outside there by Lucy Chin. Enables that driving lane to open up. And Chin here will head to the line. Been a tough year at the line for the Bengals, as that one rolls in for Brighton. A welcome sight here for the visitors. Lucy, first point she scored tonight from inside the arc. That one off the mark, batted out, and it will go back to the Knights. Okay, offensive foul. Kaylee was trying to work around that screen, but Rich tried to enlarge that screen, gets called here. As this back to Brighton. Got the 10th team foul on Lone Peak in this first half. Kept here by the Bengals. Stevens trying to throw up top, and there's Ika. Knocked out. It'll go. Oh, stay here. My bad. I thought Ika might have deflected that away, but they say she was the last to touch it. Four-second differential. Game clock to shot clock. Worked into the corner. Smith here. 10 left on the shot clock. Handed off to Stevens. Now Nielsen, thought about the three, looking to drive. Good defense by Lawrence. Ika at the horn, fouled, and McKaylee Ika will head to the line here with less than a second to go. There's 0.5 on the clock. And it will be 2 free throws here for McKaylee Ika.
Number 4, McKaylee Ika, shoot 2.
Ika unofficially with 4 tonight. Make it 5. And 2 for 2. The heave, not enough. A big second quarter for Lone Peak. Creates some distance. They take a 35-19 lead into the locker room at the break. You're watching Lone Peak basketball on KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front. SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
And welcome back here to Lone Peak High School. Start of the second half. Dane Stewart with you. It was a 3-point game after the first quarter. A 22-9 second quarter advantage has helped Lone Peak to push this up to their largest lead of the contest, 35-19. They'll start with the basketball. Nordstrom here through traffic. 2 more for Shawnee. I think she's leading all scorers tonight, now with 10. Good breadth of scoring for Lone Peak as a steal here by Tanavasa, and she'll finish in the second half starting just as the first did with a couple of early runs to the rim. Naya now with 7. Other scoring leaders today for Lone Peak, Ika, Woolston, and, Kaylee and Kennedy, each with 6 apiece in that first half. Again, that all unofficial as Bartholomew with the offensive board here, able to pull that away. Tanavasa here will try the 3. That was long. Nordstrom with a backside rebound. In the paint, sends out Kaylee the 3. And now you start to see that Lone Peak offense starting to find its rhythm. How about Bartholomew with the steal? Up ahead for Kaylee. And Bartholomew there to get some exercise. She started it off with the save and trailed on the 2-0 breakout. 44-19. In the paint, Nielsen blocked by Bartholomew. Ooh, Lone Peak wanted to travel, and they say that time that Stevens was able to keep that foot down. 3 on the way from, that was mismatch, able to hit the 3 for the Bengals. First points of this second half. 4 now for Maya. Nordstrom through that double team, back to Bartholomew, just inside the junction. 6 now for Bartholomew, and a timeout taken here by Brighton, as this is the Lone Peak team we saw early in the year. They're back, 46-22, Knights out in front.
It all starts with a smile. To show you care, offer a sign of love, welcome someone home. Even when we don't see each other, or share a room, even without words, smiles bring us together. Let's keep yours healthy. Stonehaven Dental. Schedule online at stonehavendental.com.
Inside of 6 minutes left here in the third. And an 11-3 first 2 minutes for the Knights. I mentioned they just came off of their in-state tournament. They'll head back into the tournament realm after tonight's contest. I mentioned this is a group that coming into the night, if you look on Max Preps, they're top 25 in the country, rated at 15 nationally. Pretty impressive. As Bartholomew inside, drawing the contact there, and the whistle coming as Nielsen had the bucket on the other end.
First personal, first team foul. Sarah Bartholomew on the line for the Knights, shooting 2.
Bartholomew here now with a pair of free throws. First one for Sarah. Two for two. Here's Nielsen over with Chin. Smith Working off that screen, sends it out. Mismatch back up top and worked around. 10 on the shot clock here for the Bengals. Nielsen over to Chin, long three from Lucy. That was short. And Lone Peak pushing it up. Ika plays to Nordstrom for three. Shawnee now with 13, her second made three of the game. Mismatch straight away. Too strong, and it's one and done for Brighton. Ika skipping over with Tanavasa. Good positioning from Bartholomew. Takes that dribble to get to the middle of the paint. And Sarah with two more. And a whistle here on the pressure there by Ika. Picking up a cheap one. She knows it. Her third. First team foul on Lone Peak in this second half. Remember, they had 10 in the first half. Typically a team that does not foul much. Three on the way. Nielsen with the three for Brighton. And talk about the youngsters for the Bengals. Boy, really like the youth we've seen. I know on the scoreboard today there's a big differential, but we've seen that from other teams when they've taken on Lone Peak this year. But you think about a lot of freshmen and sophomore on the floor. As long jumper there from Bartholomew misses. Kept here by Lone Peak and finally cleared there by Nielsen. But man, the youth on the floor, you figure in a year or two, boy, this is going to be a really good squad for the Bengals. As Tanavasa here picking up her third. And Olivia Stevens coming back on the floor here for Brighton. Meanwhile, Katie Lawrence will come on for Lone Peak. That one sent out. Three again from Chin. Her third made three, and a timeout by Lone Peak. Timeout Knights, as Lucy Chin has brought the long ball here for Brighton.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Welcome back. 5 made threes tonight for Brighton. Half their points coming from beyond the arc, and Lucy Chin's been the best shooter of the bunch. Kaylee works around a couple screens, and Kaylee Woolston there with an answer for Lone Peak. Her second made three tonight. Kaylee now with 14 as she's overtaken the scoring lead for both sides tonight. Brighton, that three off the mark. It'll go back to Lone Peak. Substitution, Kennedy Woolston will come on here for Ika. Giving back, Nordstrom the three. And she's been the best long ball shooter tonight for Lone Peak. Came into the game almost 30% from long range. that being Shawnee. She gets the steal here. Lawrence able to keep that pivot. Kaylee seeking the three. Ooh, just off the front of the rim. Offensive board, Rich. We'll head to the line here, just inside of 2 minutes to go.
Number 34, Charlotte O'Neill, her second personal, second team foul. At the line for the night, shooting 2. Number 32, Katie Rich.
Rich to the line, 2 here for Kaylee, making the first. Nordstrom will get a well-earned break, and Samantha Pope checking in here for Lone Peak. First minutes of the night tonight for Pope. Back of the rim, and Kennedy has the rebound. Pope will try the three. That was short. And Brighton with the board. Here comes Stevens. Stevens off the glass, yes. Stevens now with 9 tonight. Here's Woolston. Kennedy, that three was long and off the support. We'll give it back to the Bengals. Here's Chin. That was deflected. Able to find its way through. Tough shot for Stevens. Too strong, and Lone Peak with the clear. Knights pushing it up. Kennedy to the rim. Lone Peak does not waste opportunities to push it up the floor. Back to the rim on the shot there for Stevens. Here's Lawrence, uncontested from 10. First field goal tonight for Katie. One of the seniors on this, now senior late in Lone Peak roster. Well, it feels like years since we've said that. It's been such a young group for so long. Offensive board for Brighton. Chin has the three. That was short. Gathered by Lawrence, and the shot clock off here for the final 15 seconds. Kennedy with a little ball control. Up to his sister, Kaylee. 10 in the quarter, 16 in the game for Kaylee Woolston, as Brighton will not get a shot off, and it is 66-32, all Lone Peak here on KSL Sports Rewind.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Welcome back. Want to remind you, tomorrow night we'll have the boys, Lone Peak, heading up to take on the Davis Stars in what should be a great game between a couple of 6A powers over recent years. And 2 teams that, while there's a lot of new faces, have some good skill and still looking for pieces to come together. But teams that have had impressive showings early on this year going to toe-to-toe tomorrow night. We'll have that game for you right here on KSLSports.com. At 7 o'clock, join Dusty Litster and myself to bring you Lone Peak boys basketball, taking on the Darts, only on KSL Sports Rewind. Bengal basketball. Mismatch with it. Boy, that one worked back to Maya. Now a double team. Over with Stevens. Pull up in the paint, won't go, and Kaylee with the board. Kaylee now leading the run out. Here's Ika. Contact. Boy, hard contact as Ika goes to the floor, and Brighton saying that she maybe initiated that, but it'll be free throws here for Lone Peak. 2 here for Ika.
At the line for the night, shooting 2, Michaela Ika.
First free throw, good. One more here for McKaylee. Two for two on the trip. Worked back with Nielsen. That deflected, and then Kaylee with the deflection. Brighton still on it here. And that taken away, Nordstrom able to deflect it as Ika bringing it up the floor. McKaylee all the way. Boy, not the first time that we've seen a Lone Peak teammate run into the rim without the basketball. It's been an aggressive night here for Lone Peak offensively, as this is a group that in their 3 in-state games had scored over 70 in 2 of them and 66 in that third. They're back to 70 here tonight. And a whistle here is the body contact there going to be whistled here on Ika. That'll be number 4 on McKaylee.
At the line for the Bengals, Maya mismatch, shoots 2.
2 here for mismatch. First one rattles in. One more as Lawrence will come back on the floor here. Here's Lawrence, works over Nordstrom for 3. That was off the mark. She knew it immediately. Kaylee with the offensive board. Oh, how about that find? Bartholomew. Initiated by the unselfish play of Kaylee, able to find Shawnee, and then Shawnee with the dish to Bartholomew under the rim. Drive, nice drive, but short on the take there by Stevens. Up for Nordstrom, too strong. And a foul here as Nordstrom was trying to get that back. It'll be number 2 here on Shawnee. She's got 16. Kaylee with 16 as well. Bartholomew with 12. As they've led the way tonight for Lone Peak as Rich coming on the floor here. And my apologies, forgot we running clock here with our score differential. As dribbling through there was Stevens. They say old habits die hard, and you get used to managing a clock under old rules. And my apologies. Nordstrom end-to-end once again here for Lone Peak. Just to bring you up to speed with rule changes with the instant implementation of the shot clock. Now 35-point difference in the fourth. Becomes a running clock. Only stops for free throws and timeouts. Lawrence off the window. Too strong. Got the basketball back. And there's Nordstrom. Coach Warner going to clear the bench here at the next whistle. Is that one kept in? Here's Ruth Larson on the take, and she's fouled. And it will be free throws here for Ruth Larson. Ruth, another one of the sophomores on this varsity squad, as she misses the first free throw there. First miss at the line this year for Ruth. As now the bench coming on, and Meg Eaton making her debut tonight. Pope back on the floor, and the freshman Kennedy Woolston back on the floor, is 1 for 2 at the line there for Larson. Here's Kennedy. Eaton back to Lawrence for 3, short. And Nielsen finding it. Past the midway point here of the fourth quarter. That one dribbled off the foot, and a whistle here as Nielsen trying to get that one back, picking up number 3. Kennedy trying to set up that drive. Good positioning there by Stevens. Is looking ahead for Larson. Boy, and she was able to keep that in. I thought Ruth might have been out of play, but was not, and able to keenly throw it off of Pope as the possession will stay here with Brighton. Good hustle on the play there by Larson. Chin to inbound. We'll throw out here to Ruth. Larson, boy, keenly stopped, but too strong off the window. And Lone Peak gets the clear. Here come the Knights. Lawrence plays out. Pope again. Off the mark and out of play. Back to Brighton. Addison Smith coming back on the floor here for the Bengals. As Olivia Stevens will come off. Mismatch. Trying to back down Kennedy there. That shot. Off the window and rim. Woolston. Here's Eaton. Kennedy. Back here with Eaton. Eaton looking to drive. Eaton off the window. Wouldn't go. Boy, I thought that was going to drop for Meg, but just a touch strong as the final 90 seconds here of regulation. Brighton with it back. It's a 13-10 Lone Peak advantage after one. And you see what's happened since that point. 63-27. Pretty impressive. And it will be free throws here for Addison Smith as he's continuing to play on here. Looking to be aggressive, a senior. As to the line, misses the first. One more here for Addison. Brighton's next game, as they drop to 2-4, they'll take on the Farmington Phoenix. As 1 for 2 for Addison. A group that has to feel good is how about Meg Eaton there? Had the look inside earlier, just missed it, but Eaton hitting that one for her first point tonight. But going back to Brighton, have to feel pretty good about the effort tonight. They're going up against a top 15 team, and how about that? The drive by Addison, score it with contact. She'll head to the line. And while just 40 on the scoreboard tonight, the way they started, And the way they shot from long range today, and they had some misses from close. And you figure if you can, figure out how to capitalize and execute on some of those gimmies with some of the shooting that we've seen tonight, there's opportunity for this young squad. And again, so many freshmen and sophomores, they'll grow into that. They'll grow into the consistency. It's a good young core here for Coach Nielsen as Rich on the other end, able to go off the window. As we're in our final 30 seconds. Smith terminated, worked over. Larson, boy, was left. Instead looked for entry, and the whistle here. And it's going to be 1-1. We'll stop it here with 18 seconds to go. One and one here for Ava Nielsen, another freshman, and missed it. It'll go to Lone Peak. Can dribble it out should they choose to. Final 18 seconds. And had an official timeout. They're not quite certain what or why. So here's the final 10. Kennedy with Lawrence and Lone Peak indeed will just hold this. A slow start, but they got back on pace. And what Lone Peak has done all year, they do once again as they improved to 5-1 with the 81-40 victory over Brighton. Your player of the game, Shawnee Nordstrom, was consistent throughout and really helped Lone Peak push tempo, hit a couple big threes tonight. Shawnee Nordstrom, a fantastic night to help Lone Peak get the victory over Brighton. Want to thank you for joining us here for Lone Peak basketball on KSL Sports Rewind. For Tino Psyche, my name is Dane Stewart. We'll see you tomorrow night for Lone Peak boys. And a reminder, you can catch every in-state game for Lone Peak girls right here on KSLSports.com.